White here, raise hands and we'll get to questions. John Hale.
Hey, Brad, it's been a couple of weeks, I think, since we asked you for an update on that inside linebacker depth situation. Just how are those young guys coming along behind Jamin and DeAndre?
Yeah. Again, it's an ongoing process. We've made strides, in terms of sort of solidifying that, obviously with Bembry and with Casey there, De'Aaron Jackson's done some good things. So, I think they've all made progress. There's still some work to be done, and we're going to have to get all of these next 2 weeks to get to where we need to be to play, winning SEC football. But they've all taken really significant strides, showed that they can play winning football. We just need to do it on a consistent basis.
Josh.
Hey, Brad, earlier on, like kind of around when we first kind of got to talk to you for the first time, you talked about how for D-Rob it was a good thing to have so many guys in the secondary just to bring him along. How is he coming along? Is he kind of where, maybe if you a percentage or, just how does he feel out there?
Yeah, I'm not going to go with a percentage, but he is. We're making strides there, and I'm comfortable in terms of what he can do, and a lot of it's just that live action piece, and we're going to have he's played and won a lot in SEC football, so we're confident that when the ball's snapped and we're ready to roll, that he'll be ready to roll. So not too concerned there.
Larry. Larry, you're on mute, bud.
Sorry about that, hitting the wrong unmute. So a little bit about Josh and how he's kind of progressed over not just the last couple months, but maybe over the last year or so, what you've seen the most out of him that you really like.
In terms of Josh Paschal?
No, Josh Wright.
Oh, Jordan Wright?
Jordan Wright, I mean, yeah.
Jordan. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, first of all, we saw last year that we progressed, from his redshirt freshman year into his redshirt sophomore year. He took a really, really big jump. He made plays for us last year, and now coming in as a redshirt junior, we're really expecting him to sort of take that next step, and he's done it with, added strength. Like we've talked about, he's got some more mass to him, and he's really sort of enhanced his toolbox, as a player, both, on the edge of the defense, in terms of edge setting. There's still some things there that we still have to work through, and some nuances, that can help him out there in that part of his game. But his pass rush game has really taken a leap, where when I first got here in 2018, he was just sort of this long, rangy player that could, if he was able to slip the edge, it could look good, but there's no thump, there's no power in his game. And now he's developed that, and he's learned to, to play with a more physical mindset. And at that position, to be successful, you've got to play with that physical mindset. And then, if you have the explosion and the length on top of it, then you're going to be, a dynamic player. And so we're expecting big things from him, and want to see him again take that next step. That's the big thing with all these guys from year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3, and then obviously going into as a senior. We want to see progression. We want to see growth. We want to see development. Everybody wants the ready-made thing, and it's not what we do here. We develop our guys. We take great pride in that. And it's not an overnight thing, and everybody's a little bit different. Some develop faster than others, but when they get there, they really understand, why they're there, because it's not just doing things, it's the why we're doing things.
Did Jordan fight you at all on that progression of getting where he is now?
No, I would not say no. He did not fight me at all in that regard. I mean, there were some maturity growth things that we had to go through that a lot of young players have to go through at any level, from being a young guy to being a vet. There's just some maturity things, and it's, just learning how to study the playbook, learning how to put in the extra time, learning how to do the right things, with your body in terms of recovery. And for him, a lot of it too was learning how to be a football player. He's a basketball player so much in high school, that, he's transitioned from sort of being a basketball guy to he's a football guy. And it's been fun to see.
Thanks.
John Clay.
Brad, how have you treated this extra time as far as getting ready for your first opponent? Have you already started working with them about things that Auburn does offensively, or are you trying to follow a more traditional time frame in getting ready for Auburn?
Yeah, I think right now our focus is still on development and execution of our defense. Now, yes, we've looked at obviously at what Auburn is and what they're all about. So some calls, that you work or whatnot might have a little bit of a lean that direction. But right now we're still, again, through this week is really focused, on us and, finishing off, we were able to install, our whole playbook pretty quick. I know Coach Grant talked about that, and we were able to do the same thing on defense. And so now been able to work on some other things that we've wanted to work on to help grow, as a defense and as a package. And so we're still honing some of those things, and but we'll definitely start getting Auburn focused, come next week.
Jeff Drummond.
Yeah, Brad, follow up on Jordan Wright. You've got those two experienced veteran tackles and some impressive tight ends, some physical guys there. How much of that has helped him, work on his game and his pass rush ability?
To have those guys is huge. It's huge for anybody. It's huge for a veteran. It's great for Boogie. It's great for Jordan, all our edge guys. To have to go against really talented, physical, competent tackles. And, so they get to learn, and we get to teach off that. If they were going against guys that they could just beat all the time, there's not much teaching, involved. You go back to you go into the film room and they say, oh, well, coach, I won. Well, no, we could tweak this. Like, I feel good. I'm good. No, but when they lose reps, then then there's that pride piece, and they want to improve and they want to get better. And so those guys make us better. And hopefully we do the same thing for them, that, that we rush them good enough that they feel, ready, when they kick off here in a couple of weeks.
As a quick follow-up, does that give him extra confidence to know if he can go up against those guys and succeed in practice, that pretty much anybody he faces, he's got that?
I would hope. I would hope so. Obviously that'd be more of a question for him, but I think, we talk about, fellas, you're not going to go against a better duo, in this league. Now you'll find some guys that are pretty talented, on a lot of teams, but those two are as good as any.
Keith.
Hey, Brad. Eddie mentioned the other day the defense was being really stingy. Are you seeing that from your defense so far in the preseason?
You know what? I think it's been a really good give and take between us and the offense, and they put all kinds of stress on us, and so I think to say that we've been stingy, I don't know. I think that's probably a little of an overstatement. I think we've had some really good heavyweight battles out there, and it goes back to the last question. It just makes us better, and it forces us to have to show up every day and compete. And our guys know if they don't show up, they're going to get beat, and that's what the SEC is. I mean, you could play a great game one week and come back the next week and get smoked. So it's about consistency of effort, of focus, and intentionality, in terms of what you're doing, what you're trying to get done in an execution standpoint. So no, I would say, we've had some days where we've probably played better than others, and but trust me, there's been plenty of nights where I took a shower and was like, oof, what was that out there? So.
John Hale.
Brad, obviously Yusef Corker had a huge season last year, but what's the next step for him? What are you guys kind of pushing for him to do to make, another leap ahead?
Yeah, Yusef had a good year, and by all standards. But what we're looking for, and we're expecting from Yusef is, if you were good, we want great, we want exceptional, we want elite level play. And so there's a consistency of technique, in terms of eye discipline. There was a couple of games. He was obviously a really solid tackler for us last year, but there was a couple of games, Arkansas comes to mind that he didn't have his best tackling game early. And it's just that consistency piece that he shows up and is a difference maker for us. We need him to be a difference maker on defense. The one pick in Vandy was nice, but we need to get our hands on more balls. We've talked about that defensively, in the back end, as well as, we played at times back there, we need to take the ball away. And so we expect, for him to have a little bit more feel back there and, and try to have some more ball production.
All right. I see Josh is the only one who still has his hand up, so we'll go with that. If anybody else has more questions, I'll put that up real quick and we'll go from there.
Brad, finding out today that you'll get to have some fans in the stands, just what does that, what do you think that'll look like? I mean, I know nobody really knows, but just preparing for a stadium that maybe is a little less loud, is something you're not used to doing. How do you just go about factoring that into anything?
I hadn't heard, but I'm going to defer that question to Coach Stoops. Let him be the first one to answer that.
All right, we'll wrap up. Coach White with Lonnie.
Coach White.
How are you?
Well, pretty good. Coach Stoops is not. It's been my experience down through since the coach has been here that he's not given to hyperbole for a young man if he hadn't proven it. But in this particular case that I'm going to get ready to mention, as far as Veasley Tisdale is concerned, he hasn't suppressed his enthusiasm about him at all. Talks about how he plays all over the field and what have you. Can that parlay into him being one of your needed leaders on defense?
You know what? I think, especially down the road, I think he's got some of those qualities that attract people. People like being around Vito. He's got a really good personality in that regard. Those kind of character traits. His play, is dynamic at times. There's a lot of things that we need to clean up. In terms of technique and understanding and play style, from playing within the scheme of the defense, but he does some things that are just extremely natural. And those are things that you can't teach. You can teach the playbook piece. You can teach, where to put your eyes and, but he's got a knack, for being around the football. And he's a guy that you can see down the line could absolutely be one of our leaders. I think right now his focus, and it's right where we want it to be, his focus is on finding his place on this defense this year. We've been blessed with a lot of great leadership on our team. Oh, lost some lights in here. And that's it. And see if we can get it on. No. There we go. But they, I'm sorry, where was it? Oh yeah, but from a leadership standpoint, we're not going to put that on his plate. We've got guys that have been in this system that can really rally around and have done a great job of actually taking Vito under their wings. So our focus is finding a way to harness his ability and have him help, get us where we want to be as a defense this year.
As far up, he played in the Army All-American game, and did you all foresee him having those types of qualities before he got here? I mean, I know you knew he was good, but did you see that in him?
You did. You saw that playmaking ability on his high school film. There's some subtle things that he did on that film. Both as a junior, as a senior, that you're like, whoa, that's an elite level athlete, that's able to do that. There's a scoop and score, I think after a block punt that he had that, most guys would fumble around, and the way he just picked it up is, when you're around this game, as long as, a lot of us are as coaches, that there's a rarity, and there was a smoothness to that you knew that was different.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, we'll get the players up here for you in just a minute.